Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good afternoon and welcome to your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio. Our headlines this afternoon: Guyana can demand field development plans, boost local capacities according to expert. Over 25 African nations failed to reap benefits from oil sector, and Guyana or the emerging producers should take note. Successful governance of oil sector hinges on clear policy and accountability, according to Chatham House. Fireman found dead with gunshot wounds about body, and cops arrested 2 suspects. 3-year-old drowns in nearby trench. DDL's Demerara rum achieved his major milestone with EU registration. And girl 13 rescued by residents after reportedly abducted and raped. And meanwhile, over 6,000 wildfires devastated nations this year as climate change intensifies. Stay tuned to stay informed. Of course, it includes your page 7 of the Kaieteur News. More news after the break. Stay with us.
I'm in a rush. Digital got me in a rush. Driving style for the summer. Digital summer rush.
Nobody's doing it big like Digicel this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more and collect the letters to spell the word RUSH for a chance to win one of 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs. Yes, you heard it right. 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs.
Driving style for the summer. Hey, Digicel summer rush.
Start topping up now.
With your Monday, August 16th main newscast, my name is Joshua Van Slackman. Guyana and other emerging oil producers are being urged to pay rapt attention to a recent analysis that was conducted by the Natural Resource Governance Institute. That analysis revealed that 26 of 28 sub-Saharan African countries failed to reap the benefits from their natural resources. The NRGI report attributes this failure to an implementation gap between the laws that governs the extractive industries and the practices in reality. Specifically, Silas Olgans, Africa's co-director for the Natural Resource Governance Institute, said that if countries in sub-Saharan Africa closed the implementation gap and fully implemented their own laws, they could generate greater income from natural resources. They could also better combat the negative human and environmental impact of extraction, he noted. Meanwhile, sticking with oil, if Guyana wants to ensure that there is early consideration of local content, then it would be wise to request that oil companies embed opportunities for maximum use of indigenous goods and services, as well as the training and hiring of Guyanese in their field development plans. Making this assertion was Dr. Valerie Marcel, an Associate Fellow of Chatham House for its Energy, Environment and Resource Program. Dr. Marcel made the foregoing comment in relation to a question premised on a Chatham House policy paper titled A Local Content Decision, Tree for Emerging Producers. That document notes that integrating local content objectives into procurement and engineering strategies for a company's field development plans can significantly increase the impact of effort to benefit the local content. During discussion on this recommendation, Dr. Marcel acknowledged that indeed it is a critical area that could be used to maximize local content capacities. And meanwhile, if Guyana intends to be successful with the governance of its oil sector, it must ensure that there are clear oil-related policies and systems to ensure accountability of the oil wealth to come. This was recently noted by Chatham House, an international transparency body that helps countries with the governance of their extractive sectors. The London-based body recommended that policies for the oil and gas sector be guided by a clear vision for the development of the country and a strategic view of how the petroleum sector will deliver that vision. Speaking to other guidelines, Chatham House warned that rush to adopt international best practices may not always be appropriate in case of emerging producers in the oil and gas sector. Instead, Chatham House said that the government should aim for more appropriate practices taking account of the national context. We tell you now that Demerara Distillers Limited, DDL, and subsidiaries disclosed yesterday in its 2021 interim report that in the period under review, it made significant progress to protect the Demerara rum brand via an application for geographical indications, GI, in the European Union. Geographical indications protect products against misuse or imitation of the registered name and guarantee the true origin of the product to customers. These rules ensure producers in the given geographical area have collective rights over the product, as long as certain requirements are met. And according to DDL, the Demerara Rum GI application was officially published on April 8, 2021, and upon expiration of the 3-month period for any opposition, it has now progressed within the European Union in that it will be translated into various languages of the country. You're listening to us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. More news after the break. Stay with us.
Weak systems of governance and the absence of the rule of law both combine to form the perfect stage for corruption to flourish. As part of our anti-corruption fight at Kaieteur Radio, we invite you to join us every Tuesday evening from 7:30 p.m. as we embark on a most needed quest to remove the tentacles of corruption from our systems. See you then for our latest program called Governance, Corruption and Justice.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Rescued on Thursday last by residents of Nandi Park, East Bank, Demerara, was a 13-year-old girl who was reportedly abducted, raped, and then thrown out into the streets. Kaieteur was told that it was during the early afternoon hours that the residents' attention was drawn to the cries of a traumatized and lost girl. Concerned, they ventured out to render assistance. Sources related that it was quite evident that something was wrong as the girl continued to cry and lament that she was lost and wanted to go home. Worrying about her well-being, Public Spirit residents hired a taxi and transported her to the Providence police station. Investigators who received her said they subsequently learned that she was reportedly abducted by a man in a white car and allegedly raped before he dumped her along the East Bank public road. Detectives have detained 2 persons after a 24-year-old man was found dead yesterday with gunshot wounds to his left side chest and his right arm. The dead man has been identified as Kieron McPherson of Lot 687 Defield, Sophia, Georgetown. His remains were discovered around 4 hours lying in a yard in Seafield, Sophia. According to police, they had responded to a call from a woman notifying them that a man was lying motionless in a yard and what looked like bloodstain on his skin. Detained for questioning in connection to his death are a 28-year-old woman and a 21-year-old man. Detectives are working along with a theory that McPherson murder might have been stemmed from a triangular love affair. Ever since the start of the Industrial Revolution in the late 1800s, when humans started burning massive quantities of fossil fuels, there has been a continuous climb in global temperatures. This human included crisis has led to an increase in extreme weather events such as heat waves, wildfires, flooding, droughts, blizzards, and rainstorms. Currently, more than 1,000 wildfires are raging across the world as the effects of climate change intensify. The Guardian, for example, recently reported that wildfires are raging across Europe and North America, and temperatures and dry conditions fueled the blaze that would have killed many while destroying the livelihoods of others. In fact, the combination of extreme heat and prolonged drought has led to some of the worst fires ever witnessed in almost a decade. In Greece, fires have raged across the country for nearly 2 weeks, leaving dozens needing hospital treatment. And it is time for us to turn our attention to the page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated of being blunt. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo is galloping ahead with plans for an approximately $1 billion US gas to energy project at Wales. And only now his colleague, the Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat, is talking about a master plan aimed at determining what will be done with the surplus gas. This is akin to creating a product and during that process, only then deciding what to do with excess production. Guyanese, we cannot stand for this sort of haphazard approach to leadership. We must not allow the future for our children and great-grandchildren to be tainted by poor decisions of today. We must contest this fool's mission now. If we don't, economic slavery awaits us all. And with that, we've come to the end of the main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Let me remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at the newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. Coming up after this, it will be time for a presentation on the oil and gas sector by publisher of the Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Lowell, followed by the Monday edition of the National Outlook with GHK Lowell. And at 13 hours, it is time for Your Health Matters with Rihanna Ramsey. Have a great remainder of your Monday afternoon.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.